welcome back to my channel. Today we are gonna play the summer edition of my TBR game, Library Card. There have been some changes since the last time you were here, as there usually are. I don't know if I mentioned this before. I play this game all the time just for funsies, like when I'm bored. I'll make TBRs that I don't have any intending of reading. I just want to play and make a TBR. So while I was playing over the last couple of weeks, I decided that there were entirely too many scary categories on here. Let me pull out the stickers. So in this game that I've made, I use these stickers that I got off Amazon. And so many of them, as you can see, are like scary, horror, terror, crime is up there, like suspense. They're very similar themes. So rather than having 5 books that or 5 categories that kind of lead to the same type of book, I have changed out the scary ones for graphic novel, which I don't really read too much, but maybe I'm more open to them now than I was before. So we'll give that a shot. And I switched out the terror ones for reading list, which basically will refer to any reading list that I have particular, goals for, like my 24 and 2024 list, something like that. I will pick a book from that list. So there's a little bit of difference. Not a whole lot. It's just like I didn't need 5 different kinds of scary book. I wasn't getting a lot of variety, and variety is something I definitely need when I'm reading, which leads me to my TBR from spring and how I did. We're going to quickly go over my spring reads. The first one that we had was Eventide by Sarah Goodman, and this was for a fiction space, and the prompt I chose was debut novel, and I did read this. The next book that was on my spring TBR was The Princess Bride by William Goldman. This was for an adventure book with a TV or movie adaptation prompt, and I did read this. The next book from my spring TBR was Curious Toys by Elizabeth Hand, and this was a C title and a suspense space. I have not read this. I will explain myself, but I have not read this. Editing me here, just cutting in to tell you that I didn't read Curious Toys because I had read 2 thrillers back to back, and the second one wasn't very thrilling, so I just really wasn't in the mood for yet another thriller. So that's why I didn't read it. The next book was Lasher by Anne Rice, and this was landing on next in a series, and people on the cover, and I did read this. Then we have The Secret Garden by I always mess up this name. The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett, which I landed on a classic, and I used the prompt blue cover, and I did read this. Then we have Peter Pan, which I landed on classic, and my prompt was instrument on the cover. As you can see on the cover of the copy that I had, Peter has his pan flute. And the final one that I had was a nonfiction book. I landed on a nonfiction space with a K title, and for that I picked Kiss Myself Goodbye by Ferdinand Mount, and I did not read this one. I did read Peter Pan. I don't know if I mentioned that, but I did read Peter Pan. So I read 5 out of 7 books, and I didn't read. I tried. I started I read the first few pages of what is it called? Kiss Myself Goodbye. I started the first few pages of Kiss Myself Goodbye, and the whole first chapter was describing architecture for their family homes, and I am just no with that. I'm architecture dumb. I don't know the terminology, and I don't care to learn it. I'm not looking it up. Pass. So I read 5 out of 7 books, which is good. It is good. These are not the only books I've read over the last few months. I've been reading all kinds of other things as well. I'm just kind of over this TBR and would like something fresh for the summer. And you see Grumpy Ghost is joining us today. I worked outside on the patio today at work. I don't know if I've mentioned, I probably mentioned before, I work in a restaurant and live in South Florida. And it was like 95 degrees outside today, and I'm just not pretty for the camera. And I don't feel like getting pretty again for the camera. I am just done for this day. So you're going to be hosted by Grumpy Ghost today, and he's a Grumpy Ghost because I did not finish my TBR. So shame on me. He could be a happy ghost, but he's not. So that kind of concludes my previous TBR. I have done a few things, right? I've taken some cards out, some prompt cards out, particularly the ones that are like, find a title that starts with A, find a title that starts with B. You know, the letters that I have already read. Like, I have my A to Z challenge going in my bullet journal, in my reading journal. If I've already read that letter title and already marked it in my journal, I have taken the card out. So that'll help me get some of the ones I haven't already gotten off of my challenge list. So I hope that makes sense. And I am not currently going to be putting back the cards that I just played with, these ones from my last round. I'm not going to put them back in yet because I hate getting the same prompts 2 games in a row. Drives me crazy. All these prompts and I get the same ones 2 days in a row. Or 2 games in a row. So I have shuffled everything. And as usual, I've come up with other way to play this game that I've been playing like independently and just kind of for the fun of it, that I have been enjoying. And, you know, what I'm going to do is the game always starts with me drawing 5 prompt cards, right? Always draw 5. Well, I'm going to have 5, but every time I land on a space, I'm going to draw a 6th card, and I can choose between those cards. So that I'll always have 6 cards to choose from over here. So that I have more variety and more options to try to get more of my physical TBR books on my TBR, rather than having to go look for a Spotify audiobook or a library book. If that makes sense. Because the whole point is to read the books that I already own. And I'll include ebooks as well, you know, into my physical TBR because I do have them. But rather than going to look for books I didn't intend to read, I'm hoping to have more options to be able to put the books I already have on my TBR by having more prompts to choose from rather than narrowing it down to, by the end of the game, I only have 1 prompt. With that said, I have also, instead of just, you know, going up to 5 prompts that I was, you know, kind of doing like 5 books a game, but I was doing it monthly. Now I decided to do it seasonally for the summer. I'm going to go all the way through to 100 and pull a new prompt every time. So how many books we get, that's how many books we get for the next 2.5 months. Like this will be June, July. We're already halfway through June, but June, July, and August. That'll cover my summer TBR. September, October, November. That's when we get into fall and spooky season. And then obviously I get into winter and the holidays come December. So, this will be my TBR for the next 2.5 months. On average, when I'm playing this, and I have played quite a few rounds by myself, as I've mentioned, I get usually between 12 and 16 books, which is a good amount for 2.5 months, I think. I've been averaging 5 to 7 books a month. I feel like that's a very healthy pace, so let's just keep that up. And I think, you know what? I think I am ready to get into this game. All right, let's do this. All right, let's start with our setup. I will start with my 5 prompt cards. Has this month in the title, that is June. I don't have any books with that. This too. Over 900 pages. Love that for me. Has a dolphin or whale on the cover. Not sure if I have any of those. Has trees on the cover. It's always an easy one. Has an illustrated spine. So those are our 5 starting prompts. And I did not finish my TBR, hence Grumpy Ghost. So we are also going to pull a late find. And that is use a random generator to add 1 book to your TBR. Well, we are already off to a bad start. Now, should I do this now? Or should I do this last? I will do this last. This is the last thing. Late finds have to be used by the end of the round you're playing. Book club perks can be passed on to further games down the line. But if you have a late fine, you have to use it this turn. So I have to use that by the end of this game. So I have chosen to save myself to have to do it at the end. And I will be doing, I don't have a random generator, but I do have a TBR jar. And it doesn't look like a lot, but it is. It's a lot. There's a ton in there. That's all my both ebooks and physical books that I own that are unread. So that's everything in there. I update it all the time when I get new books. So that's all up to date. We'll just pull one of those at the end. Okay, we are ready to begin. Roll number 1. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A mystery. And remember, we're going to draw every time. Between 300 and 400 pages. Well, let's looky at some options here. Okay, after digging through my TBR cart, I have a few mystery options. I have Build Your House Around My Body, Where the Crawdads Sing, Wilder Girls, and A Flicker in the Dark. Now, A Flicker in the Dark has trees on the cover. Wilder Girls has an illustrated spine. Build Your House Around My Body. Is that an illustrated spine? I'm going to say that's an illustrated spine. Where the Crawdads Sing? I don't know if it has any of these things. So this one might be out. Yeah, because how many pages is this? 368 pages. So they all fit a prompt that I have, right? So what am I feeling? My sister wants me to read Where the Crawdads Sing so bad. I just absolutely hate this cover. I specifically ordered not this cover. I ordered the pink one. You know, the popular pink book. I'll put a little screenshot up here maybe. And I still got the stupid movie tie-in edition. I absolutely hate movie tie-in editions. But if I like this book, then I'll get a prettier version. But do I want to read this one? I don't know. I don't know what I want to read. I feel like if I read this, my sister will stop telling me to read it. I'm like, I want to be a swamp girl that just doesn't have anyone bothering me. That would be nice. I think I'll do that. All right. We'll do that. We'll do Where the Crawdads Sing for 300 to 400 pages. Roll number 2. 11. Big number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Romance. Let's see. Ends in an even number of pages. All right. I don't have too many romance on my shelves. I'm not a big romance reader. Let's see what we can find. Okay, like I said, I don't have many romance on my shelves, but one I really want to read this summer is Shark Heart, A Love Story by Emily Habeck. Habeck? I think so. By Emily Habeck. This book just sounds bonkers to me, and I'm so intrigued about a man turning into a great white shark. Like, what? So I want to read this so bad, and look, this is illustrated. See how it's part of the sea grass? There, illustrated spine. I'm stretching it, but it counts. So for my romance, illustrated spine, Shark Heart by Emily Habeck. Roll number 3. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Suspense. Has a one-word title. Add to our pile here. Let's see what we have that's suspenseful. So I have come up with 2 suspensey kind of books. I have The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins, and I have Pretty Girls by Karin Slaughter. But we're going to do Pretty Girls by Karin Slaughter. This one ends at 418, if you can see that. I hope you can. I don't know if you can. But this ends at 418, which is an even number of pages. So we're going to do Pretty Girls for this one. And roll number 4. 11. I keep rolling 6s and 11s. That is very weird. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. A classic. Published before 1990 is going into the pile. Well, I've got quite a few classics. I've got a whole lot of them, and I've got a whole lot of 24 in 2024 books to catch up on. So let's quickly pull a couple options. Well, I was going to pull a few options, but I've decided, and it may seem crazy, but I'm going to put, because I plan on reading this summer one way or the other. I'm going to do Gone with the Wind by Margaret Mitchell, and this is a massive book. Okay. It is 959 pages. Like, it's huge. And I'm going to read it this summer one way or the other. It's on my 24 in 2024 list. So I'm going to read this. I might as well put it on the list. It's massive. Big old chunky book. Roll number 5. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sci-fi. Has a map on the inside cover. By that I do mean just a map in general. If it's on a page in the book, I'll take it. Now, after putting big old chunky Gone with the Wind on my TBR, I think let's take it a little easy on the next one and they'll balance out. We're going to do Annihilation by Jeff Vandermeer. Very small book. It's 195 pages, and Annihilation is, of course, a one-word title. I've seen this movie and really want to read the books because they never did a sequel to Annihilation, and I need to know how this story continues because it was super interesting and, like, genuinely a terrifying-ass movie. So I would love to read this book. Definitely stoked to put that one on. Maybe it's time to, like, move down here. Generally stoked to put that one on to my TBR. And it's nice to balance these two out. Roll number 6. 4. Again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Another classic. An author you've never read before. Got plenty of those. So for this classic, I'm going to do The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. Now, this is where I'm having trouble. I can use either an author you've never read before or published before 1990. I think I'm going to do 1990 because it is a classic. So it's, you know, it's published almost 100 years ago at this point. So published before 1990. That way I can maybe use this prompt, an author I've never read before for something where it's maybe a little bit more limiting, another genre going in the future. It's so hard to do this because you don't know what the future holds in this game. And I pick these books as I go. So it's like, what do I do? But I also am keeping, this is a very short, infamously short book, which will, again, help balance this big old chunker out. Roll number 7. 10. It's a good thing I don't have penalties or something for doubles because I would be in so much trouble right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Historical fiction. Love historical fiction. A brown cover. Add that there. Let's see what we got rattling around for historical fiction. So I think for historical fiction, I am going to do The Deep by Alma Katsu. And this book is about survivors from the Titanic who meet up later. The Deep is about a woman named Annie who survived on the Titanic, or survived the sinking of the Titanic, and then goes on to work on the sister ship of the Titanic, the Britannic, which is turned into a hospital ship. I don't know the timeline exactly on here or how much later past the sinking of the Titanic. You know, I would assume World War I. Because Titanic sank in 1912, and World War I started in, 1918, 1919, something like that. So She's working on the Britannic and comes across an unconscious soldier that she's caring for who was also on the Titanic. So that sounds rather interesting, and it has bits of mystery and like what caused the Titanic to sink, that kind of underlying storyline, but it's also something of a romance between them. Very mixed signals on the synopsis of this book. So it is a historical fiction, though, being that it takes place around the sinking of the Titanic. So that sounds interesting. And Alma Katsu is an author I've never read before, so we are going with that. Roll number 8. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Realistic fiction. By that I do mean literary fiction. Has a rabbit on the cover. Interesting. Let's see what kind of realistic fiction I have rolling around over here. So for my realistic fiction, I'm going to do To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. This is a 24 in 2024 book for me. And as you can see, there are trees / a tree on the cover. That is what we shall do. Easy peasy. Roll number 9. Ooh, is that off camera? It's a 5 for those of you who can't see it. It's a 5. I guess anybody couldn't see it. It was just me. Okay, so 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Crime. And a weapon on the cover. Don't those go hand in hand? And I already know what I want to read for this one. That is Confessions of a Serial Killer, The Untold Story of Dennis Rader, the BTK Killer by Katherine Ramsland, PhD. And I hope you can kind of see what's behind the text there. It's rope, which BTK stands for bind, torture, kill. That was a weapon for this person. So we're going to do weapon on the cover, as kind of sick as that is. But there we go. Have a choice. There we go. Roll number 10. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Folklores and Fairy Tales. A translated book. What? Let's see what I have. I'm not sure what I have. Let me look. Okay, I didn't think I was going to have anything that fit this prompt, but it does. So we have Reclaim the Stars, which is an anthology, 17 tales across realms and space. It's kind of more like folklore than fairy tale, but I think it's kind of a mix of the two, written by all of these various authors. And if you can see right there, there's a whale, a space whale. Whale. I didn't think I was going to have anything to fit that prompt. I thought I was going to have it till the end of the game, but I do. I'm excited. Reclaim the Stars, 17 tales across realm and space. That is lovely. Roll number 11. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Series. Male author. That's an easy one. Series. Well, it wouldn't be a game of library card if I didn't put a continuation of a series on here, would it? Let's take a look. Okay, this one might pain me to do it, but we are going to go with Season of Storms by Andrzej Sapkowski, I think is how you say his name, a novel of The Witcher. I finished the actual Witcher series itself. This is a companion novel, a story of The Witcher. So I'm hoping, I'm praying, I'm begging that this is like the first 2 books, The Last Wish and Sword of Destiny, and not like the rest of the series, which was ass. Because I loved those first 2 books. I read them back to back. I read them so fast. Please let this be Monster of the Week and not anything whining about Ciri. Because I can't. I absolutely hate the way the series ended. But this is the last book that is in that series at all. And then I would have completed it. So please, let it not suck. Please let it not suck. If it sucks, I'm throwing this book across the room. I'm going to be angry. we're going to give it a shot, though. Roll number 12. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Historical fiction again. Has a 6-word title. I've got it. That took a hot minute, by the way. So I'm going to do The Judas Blossom by Stephen Aryan. Aryan? I just want to call him Arya because of Game of Thrones. And this is book 1 of The Nightingale and the Falcon. And I actually do have an ARC copy of part 2 that I obviously can't read because I haven't read the first one, although I do own the first one. So I'm going to read The Judas Blossom, and fun, it does have a map inside. So that is what we are going to do. Historical fiction, and it is historical fiction. It is something of a reimagining of Genghis Khan's legacy and his grandson completing what Genghis Khan started, intending to make a Mongolian empire that covered the world. In American schools, we aren't taught a whole lot of history from other parts of the world. You're going to go over the American Revolution at least 10 times in your 12 years of school. But learning about a different country, oh hell no. So you have to do that on your own. So we're going to start the Mongolian Empire this unit. Everybody get your pencils out. Lucky number 13. 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Magical realism. That's fun. Has flowers on the cover. Magical realism. Oh, you know what? I got it. So I'm going to do, that took me no time. I'm going to do South of the Buttonwood Tree by Heather Weber. And this is, in fact, a brown cover. This one jumps out to me. I don't know why. She finds a baby by a tree. And I don't know why that's so interesting to me, but we'll try. Roll number 14. This might be it. It is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We done. We done with that. Now, I do still have my late find. So, let's get my TBR jar here. Give it a move. Nope, 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 nope. This is, I don't put my hands in there. Usually I use a pen. All right, here we go. Give it a go. Oh, I don't like that it jumped out. Get in there. Okay. Okay, it's stirred. Okay. That's upside down. The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. That's a brand new book. Well, the jar has spoken. Let me go get it. Okay, by new book, I obviously don't mean new to the world, but it is a new book in my collection. So, The Adventures of Tom Sawyer by Mark Twain. This is a great book for the summer. I wasn't planning on reading it until next year. I have an idea already for like my 25 and 2025 list that this was going to go on, but that's okay. We'll just read it now. So saith the jar. Well, that was a lot. That's a lot. How many books was that? 15, 14? That's 14 books. But it's 2.5 months, 14 books. Not bad. I did put one chunky one in there, or else we probably would have had mostly regular-sized books. And a couple of small books. But one big old chunky chunk, not bad. I'm pretty pleased with this TBR. There's not as much variety on here as maybe I'd like, but it's definitely doable. It's not a spooky TBR, so that'll really kind of set me up. I don't have any thrillers really, just kind of like one suspense book, but nothing crazy that'll like push me out of wanting to be excited for spooky season. So, you know what? Angry Ghost is appeased. He's chilling. We're good. So, I hope you have enjoyed playing my game with me. Let me know what you kind of think about this new drawing new cards every roll. I think it really helped me out as far as like having more variety to choose rather than getting stuck with having to have a translated book that's part of a series or something like at the end of the game, because it just gets to the point where it gets so difficult. I don't have anything available in my TBR for it. Like, I have over 200 books on my physical TBR, and sometimes I don't have a book that matches up with the genre and the prompt when I get down to so few options. So I think this is a good solution. And it helps me get more variety onto my TBR, and I actually get to play the entire TBR game, my library card game, when I do it for the season. And 14 books is totally doable for a season, for 2.5 months. That's totally doable for me. So I don't have a book I'm reading right now. I finished a book last night, and I'm ready to dive in. So I will catch you all in the next one. Bye.